This is Rabbi Robert B. Holman Jr.
Shawn Appleton,
and this is
Hebrews
Hebrews
in
in
Exile.
Exile. Shawn,
Sir,
how you doing today?
I am stupendous. I am stupendous. I am alive and well, although I'm in exile. The Most High continues to watch over me and my family as He does with you,
Yep.
and He has never failed. I get to see the manifestation and understand the mitzvot as they manifest themselves in my life every single day. And it is a beautiful and glorious thing. And I cannot thank the Most High enough for allowing me to be able to see that. So to answer your question, I'm doing what Tony the Tiger would say, great.
And that's a that's a position that we have. As I tried to demonstrate in talking with you in the dissertation in this past Shabbat about the protection that we are under
Oh, yeah.
and that our families are under. That we are not worried about things that this world is worried about, while it is that the Most High has certainly stated about our people living in fear.
Sure.
If we were not, here's the thing, and this is what I'm happy about. I don't know if I would be fearful if I didn't know what I know.
Okay. I like the
I mean,
disposition. Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't know. And I say that because I think that's where the majority of the Hebrew people that don't know their Hebrew are. I don't think that they really know to be fearful.
Right. It's the fat, dumb, and happy syndrome. They're unaware of what imminent danger is upon them, if I'm understanding you correctly. And if they did, they probably would acquiesce and get on board with the Most High and probably be aware of the fear and then lose it at the same time. So it's kind of like they don't know what danger they're under.
Yeah, and I don't think they realize. I don't think that. I don't think they understand the aspect of being fearful until fear is upon them.
Is it more of like let's make a correlation to the text, like Noah. They didn't fear anything until that water started coming up to their chest and it wasn't stopping.
Right. And I believe that in this America that we live in, while it is tumultuous and European imperialism is very rampant in this nation and the world in light of the people of color, I don't think that they have the ability to understand the fear or understand what they're up against.
Yeah. They've been fully assimilated into a westernized culture that doesn't provide a way to substantiate the validity of the Most High and what has been done to us. They've just accepted, okay, this is life.
Yeah, and to all of those of you who have just joined us online in the chat room, I say shalom to you. We just witnessed
Oh yeah.
in the news in one of the largest churches in the United States of America that is a Christian church. We just witnessed over the news how this lady walked up in there and started shooting.
Yeah.
And our people, I mean, I don't know how to broach this tonight. It seems to me that with all of the hatred that is being unleashed on people of color, that there would be some well, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. There is fear because I've heard from some of the celebrities and people who talk about being fearful of, going places and being places where danger is imminent towards people of color. I've heard that. Now, my concern is, though, they don't know why. They don't know why this sense of fear is so pervasive in the world for people of color.
Yeah, they don't. There's no explanation. Well, there is an explanation, but
Well, yeah, I mean, and the thing about it is this. I have concern, and we sound the shofar, and we make a loud cry, and we talk about how the Most High is our covering, and how the Most High is our support, and how his eyes are always upon Hebrew. I have to preface Hebrew Israel from all the other Israel, because Hebrew Israel is the real nature of what we're talking about here. But with America being the most pervasive nation of all the nations in the world who have this propensity to gun violence, and all of this gun violence is really kind of directed towards people of color, you really can't feel safe.
no.
And it just depends on what state you're in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, we live in California, and I live in Sacramento, California, and I don't have this sense of fear. I don't walk in a sense of fear. I'm not afraid. I'm not scared, because I know whom I trust. I know who is my protector. I know who is my shield, and who is my exceeding great reward. I know that. So I don't function in that spirit of fear in terms of what it is. However, when I read text and the Most High speaks about his fury.
Yeah.
And people don't have a sense of understanding what the fury of the Most High is. They don't even know what it is.
Yeah. Well, okay. We got the Yahweh in that codex called the Bible. When he takes that 400-year sleep, supposedly, and then wakes up and the Immaculate Conception, all of a sudden he becomes a pacifist. Everything is just love, 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 love. It's interesting that you bring up the text in the sense that in light of what happened at Olstein's church in Lakewood, that in our text, we have this great sense of understanding because we understand that protection is afforded to us.
Yes.
Because
of
we follow the mitzvot.
mitzvot.
And when you get across the street over into the New Testament, miraculously that all goes away. You're not a protected group of people anymore. It's individualism that happens over there. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you boast about it. Say you were in a pastor for decades.
Yes, and I spent all my life there until the Most High pulled me out.
Right. And in reading that, the text that's over there, do we get the same sense, which I don't, the same sense of protection?
No.
From this Christ character?
No.
Than you do from the Most
Well,
High?
well. Let me put it this way.
Okay.
I say no. I say no, but to those that are in it, they have been taught and they have been fed the narrative that Jesus will protect you.
Right. Exactly.
But when I look at the historical events that have happened to our people, Jesus has not protected them. Now, understand something. You're walking and you're believing. You have faith, you have confidence. You're walking and you're believing. You have confidence and faith that this man who died and bled and whatever is going to protect you. But in the hour of need, when crisis is upon you as an individual,
Absolutely.
and it has been upon a lot of our individuals, he has not shown up. And and I've said this before, I am almost sure. There aren't too many, I'm gonna use the phrase, I hate using color, but there aren't too many black people who don't believe in Jesus.
You know what? That's true. Most of them.
And when they're in
we'll say
trouble,
that.
their first cry is to Jesus. Okay?
Can I say something funny?
Absolutely.
Go ahead. What I was going to say is, I got more confidence in Santa Claus because he'll show up every single time on the same day, every single year. And at least he'll bring me something when you call on your Christ and you pray fervently, foaming at the mouth, asking all the time, and you don't get nothing that you ask for.
Where I'm trying to go with all this discussion here that we're opening this podcast with is this. We are in an exile.
Yeah.
This happens to be the third exile for Hebrew Israel. The first one was the Babylonian, the second one was the Assyrian, and the third one is this one. And this particular exile, this third exile, has sent Israel scattered to the four corners of the earth. And I realize that the Most High has had a plan in doing that, and excommunicating her out of the land. I understand that. That the whole scheme of things, because when you think about it, you know, did he not know? He's all knowing.
Sure.
Did he not know that Hebrew Israel is going to be a bunch of hard-headed,
clowns, yeah.
stiff-necked people? Did he not know that?
Sure.
He knew that.
Sure.
And that's and see, I want to tell you something that people won't understand. Okay, that is the reason he chose them.
Absolutely, because I was getting ready to take it from you. If you didn't jump on it, I was going to be like, it's sitting right there. That's the beauty of it. You got to see the beauty of the fact that you got a bunch of hard-headed folks. Please.
But that's the reason why he chose them. He knew exactly what their demeanor was. He knew exactly how they were going to respond. And, you know, you have to read the prophet Ezekiel to understand what I just said, because in Ezekiel, he talks about the redemptive period, the time of redemption. And in the time of redemption, he talks about the fact that the nations would realize that he had never, ever forsaken Hebrew Israel. And then he kind of talks about it in the narrative when he brings Israel, redeems Israel back to the land, and the nations see that Israel is living in joyous, pristine living, and the temple is rebuilt and restored and all, and how the nations are going to look. The Most High signs it. He says, and then they will know that I am Yahweh who did this.
Beautiful thing.
You know.
Beautiful thing. That's one. If somebody had to ask me, what is the greatest miracle that's in text? That's it. Is the redemption of Hebrew Israel from exile.
Yeah.
Because there is no. What other Elohim can you name that has redeemed a nation of people, who has brought them back to a level of prominence? We live in an unprecedented time, unlike our ancestors, because unless you correct me if I'm wrong, our ancestors never had to deal with someone else coming and claiming that they're us. You never seen the Philistines come in and say, we're Hebrew Israel, and you're not.
Yeah.
You've never seen the Hittites or the Jebusites or any of these other ites that are in text claim your birthright. So not only do we have the fact that we've been indoctrinated into a culture that's not our own, westernized culture, but we also have to deal with the fact that we have to reclaim our identity. And until individuals understand who they are, this is just going to be banter
Right.
to them.
Right.
And that's what our aim is. And I'm going to have to tell you something. I was going to save this to when I actually got up. But I'm honored to be on stage with a prophet, because literally, I'm going to stop calling you Honorable Robert B. Holman Jr. and actually calling you Prophet Robert B. Holman Jr., because we cannot be in fear of that word just because the Christian church has demonized it in the way that they have. A prophet is a person that is going to study the text of our ancestors, apply the mitzvot to current day events, which is what you're doing, to get the people to turn. That's it.
Right. Right.
So,
hold on just 1 minute.
Okay.
I'm going to do a digression here. I'm looking at the chat board.
oh, okay.
And
They going off in there?
No.
FTF Atlanta?
No, I see an individual there whose name is Shaul Yisrael.
Okay.
And Shaul, I want you to know I see you there, and I see your comment. Pray for me that I'm homeless. And I want to say to you something. If you are walking in and understand torah, the laws, the rules, and the mitzvot of Hebrew Israel, and you claim to be that, then I have to go over to our king, King David, who writes these words and says, I once was young, but now I'm old, and I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. All of that text of what the king is talking about is an understanding that when we apply ourselves to the ways of the Most High, and when we walk in his ways, there's another text in the Psalms that says, if your ways please me, I will give you the desires of your heart. Therewith is the answer for Hebrew Israel in any situation into which that we find ourselves in a negative or in a destitute state. Now, there's another aspect to that talks about there being righteousness, peace, and joy in the set-apart spirit. Okay? So if we're going to have peace, we're going to have joy, and we're going to have this place of right standing, then our righteousness has to be right in order for us to have any peace and joy. So I want to say to you, young man, listen, if you're walking in the ways of the Most High and you know it, then you can bind the Most High to his word and you can tell him that you said, if my ways please you, you would give me the desires of my heart. And my desire of my heart at this point is not to be homeless. Pray that prayer if you're in right position with the Most High. For it's not his desire that Hebrew Israel should be without anything of his goodness. Remember, we use this text, my father owns everything, cattle on 1,000 hills. Well, if your father, Yahweh, owns everything and the cattle on 1,000 hills, then his children should not be homeless, and his children should not be wandering without. So, just to say to you, and what I'm going to do right now, and Ambassador, is I think we have an obligation to pray for our people, and particularly for our people if we're not sure where they are. Maybe they don't have the ability, because of the devastating place that they're in, to be able to pray for themselves. So I'm going to pray for you right now, because I see your statement on the board. I don't know how destitute you are, but I'm going to entreat the opulent spirit, the spirit that has created you and made you, whose desire is that you would prosper and you would have the things that are necessary for you to have in this exile. Yahweh, I come to you in your opulent name, because there is no name that is greater than your name. Your name carries the authority to unlock doors and to make provisions for your people when they are in right standing with you. I ask you, Father, for this young man, Shawn Israel, who is in a state of homelessness as we speak tonight, that you will see him, that you will hear him, and that you will bring a response to his cry and his need to make provisions for him, that he would have shelter. And not only that he would have shelter, that he would also have nourishment. And if it's the necessity that it's a job that he needs, open up a door so that he can find the work that he needs to have to be able to sustain and support himself. You are the opulent spirit who owns and knows everything, and I'm entreating you on behalf of him this evening in this podcast, because he's in the chat room with us tonight. I ask you, Father, to make a way for him. In your wonderful name, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Now, this exile has prompted something that the Most High talks about in the book of Yeshayahu, Isaiah.
Isaiah. Yep.
And for those of you who don't know, I have been teaching from the book of Yeshayahu, Isaiah, when I teach on the Shabbat. And this month is my month to teach, but I've been teaching in the alternating months from this book, beginning in chapter number 40. Mm-hmm. Chapter number 40, we are in this exile because of our ancestors. And our ancestors have done things that have upset the Most High, and he should be upset.
Absolutely. It has every right to be.
He should be upset. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm going to say to you, if Hebrew Israel is the wife of the Most High, and when you read text and you see how we have treated our husband, there is no man that would allow his wife to treat him the way we have treated the Most High.
Absolutely.
And we would and we would be furious.
Without a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt.
But while that's the case, the Most High also tells us that he recognizes the state that we're in, and it is his desire to bring that state of exile to a fruition. He wants to close it out for us. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So he's looking at us in this exile, and he opens up, and I open up in this place all the time with the words, "Comfort and keep comforting my people," says Yahweh, "and tell Jerusalem to take heart, and to proclaim to her that she has completed her time of service, that her guilt has been paid off, that she has received at the hand of Yahweh double for all of her sins." You got to listen to that and understand that what the Most High is beginning to talk about from Isaiah 40 to the end of Isaiah in chapter 58, 68 or 50, 68 rather, 66 rather, that all of the text that's in there is in reference to terminology that's germane to ending our exile. Now, the Most High tells us that he understands, and he talks about the people, he talks about the land, he talks about Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is the place where Hebrew Israel worship. It's the place where where the opulent spirit resided in the temple. The temple there was great. It was destroyed because of the fact that Israel did not want to walk in the ways of the Most High, so the Most High allowed it to be destroyed, and he allowed the land to lay desolate and fallow. But when we read Isaiah 40, starting in 40 down, now he starts talking about things that in which that he's having compassion for us. I've been furious. I've unleashed my fury. But in the fact that I've unleashed my fury, the time is going to come when my fury is going to be softened. So he gets down into text, way down in text around 50, 40, let me see here, around 40, no, around,
Yeah, let's see if we can get it.
well, he gets down to chapter number 50. Let me go, I think it's 50 or 51,
Okay.
where he talks about 51, 52. No, it's in 52, which is what I'm going to talk about this weekend.
Okay.
But it's in chapter number 51, which we talked about last week. He talks about the idea of awake and stand up, Jerusalem. At Yahweh's hand you drank the cup of his fury. You have drained to the dregs the goblet of drunkenness, indicating that that goblet of drunkenness and that cup of fury is what he unleashed on Jerusalem, because Jerusalem was the central place that Israel communed with him and did everything that they did.
Right.
In this exile, we are feeling the fury of the Most High. 40 to the end of Isaiah is what the Most High is going to do for us with this redemption. Now, you know, Ambassador, and I know that redemption is something that's quantitative.
That's right.
The Most High is not trying to redeem us from our sins.
Correct.
He's trying to redeem us from this exile that we're in and from the fury that he's unleashed upon us. While we listen to the Christian church talk about they've been redeemed from what, because if you ask them what you've been redeemed from, they can't give you a straight up answer. Redeemed from what? Well, I've been redeemed from sin. Well, I beg to differ with you.
Yeah.
I beg to differ that you have not been redeemed from sin. And I beg to differ with you that the guy that's supposed to have redeemed you from sin did not redeem you from sin, because your other writer in Hebrews talks about the fact that what he gave us as a way of life to keep us in right standing with him was ineffective, and didn't bring us to the goal. And there was a need for that guy to produce some new laws that were better than the ones that the Most High gave us. And I'm sorry, I spent all of my days. I spent over 60 years in Christianity, and I never read, and I preached and I taught from the New Testament, and I never came across any laws and any rules that match what the Most High has given to Hebrew Israel to live by. One. Now,
Okay.
secondly of all, the problem resides in the fact, and we've talked about this before, that in the book of 1 John chapter 3,
Yes.
in those verses in there, it says that a person who does not honor the law, that the breaking of the law is a sin. Let's just go there for a minute,
Okay.
so we can get it right. I want to get it right.
Okay, so we're
First John,
1 John.
chapter 3, and it could be in verse 3. Let's see. Yeah, in verse number 4 of chapter 3.
Okay.
It says, everyone who keeps sinning is violating the law. Indeed, sin is a violation of the law. And I'm using law for those of you who don't understand. Torah and law are synonymous
Same thing,
in understanding. So if everyone keeps sinning who violates the law, indeed sin is a violation of the law. But if you keep telling me that the law has been done away with and is no longer relevant or prevalent, but your text says, by John, says it's a sin, then the question becomes one, are you redeemed from sin or are you not redeemed from sin? Are you a sinner? What are you? Where are you? Where are you?
Exactly.
I'm going to have an opportunity. Hopefully, if somebody doesn't renege, to sit down with a Christian pastor and ask him about this passage. I'm going to have an opportunity to do that.
And
Because I need to have it explained to me how this right here does not place you in a state of sin, and you can't tell me that he fulfilled it so you don't have to, because that's not what Matthew chapter 5 verse 17 is talking about at all. At all.
see, it's these cathartic moments that when you bring a truth out, that's the unfortunate part about Christianity, that it cannot explain the things that it's talking about, because it keeps folding back on itself and won't give you a definitive answer that will. Instead of saying it's a theory, which is almost what this is when we talk about Christianity, versus it being a fact. A theory is something that, hey, you know what? I'm theorizing about it, but every time that I do it, I might get a different result. With the Most High, it's the same result every single time. There's a formula you follow every single time.
Right.
And as I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you speak about this, these mitzvot keep coming up in my head.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to.
All the time.
They're supposed to, because the king says you're supposed to meditate on them day and night.
And there's a passage that you eloquently put that I'm making a correlation to about, again, being the wife of the Most High. I need to circle back on that for a second, because I'm just stuck there for a moment.
Well, go.
You made that statement, and even in dealing with the Most High, we understand that we're the wife, and I'm thinking about all the mitzvot that pop up about wives. And I'm saying, even in the Most High, in dealing with us, still, if you want to draw an analogy, and I don't know, you may think that not you, but I'm not spiritualizing, but even in dealing with us, he still follows the mitzvot.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's a word that's in there that he continues to keep saying, I'm a jealous husband.
Yes, yes.
I am jealous.
Yes.
There's a reason why he keeps saying, I'm jealous.
Yes.
Because what draws into mind is when we go to Bad Midbar, chapter number 5, verses, I think somewhere, if you go through, starting at verse 11, somewhere in there, it gives you the mitzvah on what a jealous husband is supposed to do when his wife is suspect. You're suspect because you've decided that you want to go off and be an adulterous wife.
Yeah.
I'm making an analogy with where we are as Hebrew Israel right now.
Yeah.
We've gone off and been adulterous
Yeah,
and followed
absolutely.
this other
Absolutely.
demigod.
Yeah.
The Most High has, as with the husband, as the mitzvot is written, the husband is supposed to bring the wife in front of the priest.
Right?
And the priest is supposed to let her drink this concoction.
Yep.
Gathered up.
It's the law of the jealous husband.
That's right. And so what happens to the wife, if she is adulterous, she gets these this curse put on her.
Yes.
And that is the exact same thing that's happening. I almost want to say, the Most High is following. He cannot deviate from his own word. He cannot do away with what he said. And I'm so glad.
No. Go ahead.
In your prayer over Shaul Israel, having that understanding of the Most High's text and saying it back to him, saying, this is what you've done before in the past. We've learned these concepts as we study our external books and the prophets and all of our patriarchs on how to pray. We have to not remind, but say to the Most High, this is what you've done before in our ancestors in the past. And we've walked in those ways of the mitzvot. You're bound to your word. And so I'm looking at that and I'm saying, man, all of the things that are even in the Most High when he talks about a wife and being a jealous husband, all those mitzvot are there and they just resonate. I had to throw that in there because everything is systemic.
Yes.
It's a part of a system.
Yes.
That doesn't all of a sudden just get done away with because we want to make the Most High fold and conform to us.
Yeah, I mean, see, here's the thing. The Most High says, I am going to pour out my fury on you, which is what a jealous husband would do.
Absolutely.
Which is a reason why a lot of times we read in the news where a husband has found his wife with another man and he goes off and he goes crazy and somebody gets killed or something bad happens because the husband is jealous and he's furious about what's happening. Mm-hmm. The thing with the Most High is the Most High hasn't lost his total cool.
Right.
He's unleashed his fury, and yes, some of Hebrew Israel has died just like he said they would. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, his desire is to restore his wife back to him. So now he starts talking about language of comfort and awakening and how that you need to awake Israel. You need to shake yourself. You need to wake up and realize that in this exile that you're in, I'm the one. In Isaiah 51:12, he says, I'm the one who comforts you. I'm the one who comforts you. A demigod can't comfort you. And why are you afraid of a man who must die? See, now I'm gonna interpret that. Why are you afraid of Jesus Christ who must die, of a human being who's going to wither like grass? And you think that it's blasphemous for me to say that, but it's not blasphemous for me to say that because he is not El.
Correct.
He does not have the substantive constitution of El.
Exactly.
He is not a spirit of El. El is a spirit. El has always been a spirit. Mm-hmm. And El has been the one that has made even him, if that's the case.
Exactly.
Now, you have done an excellent job of debunking him from the book of Luke.
Oh, yeah. It's so plain as day. Thank you, though. Yes.
I mean, and I think we need to revisit that somehow. And I don't know if you have it in your head right now. If you don't, it's okay. But you have debunked that from the book of Luke because Luke does an excellent job of sticking with the mitzvot until the Greeks kick in and start putting their little twist in it. But they do an excellent job of debunking this guy who can't comfort you. Mm-hmm. And people, and the question is why are people afraid? You don't have to be afraid of a man. As a matter of fact, if we listen to text, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it one way where it says, put no confidence in flesh, but yet you put confidence in a man and you're afraid of him and you're afraid to call him out. I'm not afraid to call him out because I know what Hebrew text says.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Yes, sir.
So he asks us to awake, and he asks us, and he talks about the fact in the Isaiah text, he talks about the fact that I want to comfort you. I really want to end your exile. But I can't end your exile. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I can't end your exile is because you refuse to wake up. Because you're in a stupor.
Oh, yeah.
Now let me talk about, let's talk about a stupor for a minute.
Yeah, I want to piggyback on this. Come on.
I don't know if you've ever been, I don't know if you've ever been in a sleep stupor before.
A sleep stupor?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, explain it to me.
Okay.
I may have.
Well,
give me a definition.
Here's the thing. You wake up, but you're not awake. And you're groggy.
Oh, yeah.
And everything
yes.
and everything that's coming your way does not make any sense at all.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You're in this sense of stupor. Mm-hmm. Well, that's where Israel is now, which is the reason why he says to Hebrew Israel, I need you to wake up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You think I have forgotten you. No, I haven't forgotten you. The text in Isaiah says, you have forgotten me.
Absolutely. Wow.
And I need you to wake up. Mm. I need you to take responsibility for your actions and for where you are. When you wake up and come to your senses, then will I then be able to execute and bring into existence your redemption before time.
So wait, go, come on.
But because you won't wake up, okay, I'm not in a rush.
So, is it true? Set me straight. Is it true that the redemptive period is in the hands of the people?
Yes.
Not in some other person. Your redemptive, like when you get across the street, everything over there is the redemption comes through some guy.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something that's factual. And you don't have to believe me. It's okay. It's all right. I'm good. If Jesus could come back, if he could come back.
That's a good word you put in there.
If he could come back. And if he is really God manifested in the flesh, if he was, which he's not, he couldn't come back until the opulent spirit deemed it so to happen.
Correct.
So he can't make it up on his mind, well, I'm going to come back. No. Well, and I heard this for years in the Christian church. Oh, he can come anytime. He can come tomorrow. Oh, I can't say that word.
I can say it. Tell me. I'll get in trouble.
He can't come back. Not only if he could come back, he can't come back. If he could come back, he still can't come back because he's not the one that's responsible for the redemption of Hebrew Israel.
Ouch.
And you see, our text from Bereshit to 2 Chronicles is written to Hebrew Israel, for Hebrew Israel, and it's about Hebrew Israel. Mm-hmm. Now, if somebody's coming back from the nations to whom the Most High says in Isaiah, somewhere between Isaiah 40 and 8, the nations are nothing but a drop in a bucket to me and less than a speck of dust, well, that guy can come back for them.
Sure.
But the Most High is not concerned about them.
That's right. He's concerned about his people.
He's concerned about his people. So we open by saying that redemption is quantitative. It's about bringing a people that are in exile out of exile from all the places to which that they have been dispersed and bring them back to their homeland destination, which is the land of Israel and the temple of Jerusalem. That's the place where Hebrew Israel is going. Now, the rest of you guys can go wherever you want to go, including hell,
Yes.
because that's what you're trying to escape from.
Exactly.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah, let's give you some encouragement. Hell doesn't exist. Oh, you hitting him.
You know.
Wow. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch.
So, so he says, he says to us, in this exile, these two disasters have overcome you. Yet who will grieve with you? We have been plundered, and we've had plunder and destruction. We've had famine, and we've had the sword. By whom can I comfort you? Your children lie helpless in every street corner like an antelope trapped in a net. They are full of Yahweh's fury, the rebuke of Yahweh. That's Isaiah chapter 51 and verses 19 and 20. Well, the question becomes one, when you look at our people, well, where are our people? Yes, they're lying helpless. I'm going to ask you a question. Current event. Was George Floyd lying helpless in the street?
Sure was. Yes, it was.
And, you know, he's just one. But how many other of Hebrew Israel that didn't know they were Hebrew Israel lie helpless in the street and trapped in a net? And we don't understand that what's happening to us, that the Most High has unleashed his fury because of our disobedience, our failure to walk in his ways, and our failure to honor him as being the absolute, opulent, all-existent sole Savior, King, Redeemer, whatever else you want to, whatever other title you want to put on him, that he's that you've given to another individual.
Speechless.
So he asks us to awake. You know, there is a level of things that are germane to us that are really quite weird and different that we just don't wrap our heads around because there's nobody to tell you.
Right, and that's going to be an issue because we've talked about it before, you know, because our people that stand in front of our people.
Shawn, I've been there. I spent all of my life there. And yes, we heard some good inspirational, motivational preaching. But it scared the bejesus out of us because when they got through, the only place we didn't want to go was to hell, and we wanted to get saved so we could go to heaven. But nobody taught us a doggone thing
About
that helps us to understand the fury of the Most High and why it is that even though I've gone to church, rolled on the floor, spoke in tongues till whatever happened to me happened, and I went into a fury. None of that was able to deliver me from the fury of the Most High.
Yeah, none of it. You're still under. That's why even in my dissertation, no matter where you go, you can decide, like I always preach this gospel from the highest mountains. We're not supposed to be here. Even if I left westernized culture and went somewhere else, I'm still under the curse of being exiled out of the land because of the people. I'm still going to be subject. I'm not in fear, but I understand that it's not going to be total bliss and nirvana until the Most High delivers his people back. We're still going to be, our people are still going to be under oppression wherever we go. And that's going to be self-evident wherever we are.
Now let me say something. And do you realize how large Hebrew Israel is? You see, let me tell you something. You and I talk about Hebrew Israel as though Hebrew Israel is just the embodiment of African American people in Christian churches. Okay? You realize Hebrew Israel is much larger than that.
Oh, yeah. We've done dissertations on it.
Okay?
Absolutely.
So now, when I talk about the redemption of Hebrew Israel out of this exile and her need to awaken, it affects a very large populace of people in the four corners of the earth.
That's right.
In the world.
Yeah. Wherever they are.
That has to awake and realize who they are.
That's right. And it is, I want to say, I'm off the top of my head, I understand to a point the purpose of even the United States. Now, what is the United States to the world?
Babylon.
But at the same time, we are probably the greatest influencer around the world.
Yes.
Anything that comes out of the United States, either our propaganda, our culture, everything is echoed around the world and it's seen around the world.
Yes.
So therefore, having this sounding board to go out to the world to reach pan-Hebrewism, there's got to be, obviously there's a design there for it. You know, why the Most High is saying, well, why are we not hearing these types of things germane coming out of South America? How come we're not hearing them coming out of Africa? How come we're not hearing them out of these other places? And we've got the largest sounding board across the whole entire world, which is, has to have some credence to it. But at the same time, in that same breath, I do realize that the United States as a country has made it very comfortable for African American Hebrew, pan-Hebrewism here in this country to be very comfortable as to not wanting to turn, because it's almost detrimental to make the switch.
Yeah.
To get back to the Most High in a country like this one that has completely engulfed itself in westernized culture. And as we get further and further away from the atrocities that have happened to us from our ancestors through slavery and whatnot, and we become more assimilated into culture, it becomes harder to pry us out of it. We're almost better to make the turn. Even we had talked about it earlier in our podcast with Marcus Garvey and those individuals that were kind of preaching this gospel of, hey, we need to wake up, understand that we are a community of people. We can depend on ourselves on our own and make inroads to even leave the United States and start anew somewhere else. Those types of ideas are dead in 2024 because we've become so in a blind stupor about who we really are. You said it before earlier in the podcast, you challenge somebody on asking them who they are, they don't know. I'm the United States, I'm an African American in the United States, and I'm a Christian. That's how you identify yourself. You cut yourself out of so much because you don't understand the mitzvot of the Most High. You don't understand your ancestry. You don't understand your history. You don't understand the richness that's there. And all you've reduced yourself to is being a Christian.
Yeah, I mean, but, I understand that that's all they know. And while that's all they know, you and I sound the alarm,
Yes.
and we blow the shofar in Zion, and we try to warn the people and try to tell them what the Most High has said. And there is just a very, very small group of people who can even identify with what we're saying.
That's true. Very true.
And, you know, you and I, we're purists in this. And I thank you. I thank the Most High for allowing you to be my sidekick, my partner in this, because we walk in this pureness, and we're not caught up in, as I said before, we're not halting between two opinions.
Yes.
If Yah is Yah, we're going to serve Him.
Yes.
If Baal and demigods are gods, then He says serve them. But pick one.
Yeah. Don't vacillate between two opinions.
Pick one. You know, I think I want to talk about this some more, and as we come to close this week, and I think in our next podcast we're gonna talk about this thing called exile and redemption, and the things that are germane to Hebrew Israel in this exile, and what our redemption is really going to begin to look like. I think we'll talk about this some more next week.
This is great.
Well,
this podcast.
This has been Rabbi Robert B. Holman Jr. and
Shawn Appleton.
And this has been Hebrews in Exile. Shalom.